I feel like my hair does look a lot better now that I've added the little wispies. I feel like that helps a lot. Now I just need to have a hairstylist go through and make the whole thing a little bit more wavy. Oh, the startup wait period is so awkward. Do you guys even know how awkward this shit is? When I just have to sit here and wait for people to finally roll in. It's very awkward. But that being said, nah, I got nothing. Wow. Mm. Mm. I'm hoping that this can kind of be like a little bit of a refuge stream for anybody that's sitting around with their family, waiting for the Super Bowl to start, but it hasn't begun yet, and they're looking for something to do, and maybe they've been helping their mom cook all day, but now they need a break. Hi, Blueberry. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. You'll have to forgive me for my ugly bandage. Although it might be done bleeding, I might be able to just take it off. Let's see. Oh, it's pretty bad still, actually. It is what it is. Is this Super Bowl day? I couldn't care less about it. Me neither. That's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to stream, is because I'm not a football fan, but I kind of think that I can provide a little bit of content for people who also aren't football fans and need something to do on this February Sunday. But yeah, as far as I know, it's Super Bowl day. I think also the Winter Olympics have begun. So it's a very sports heavy day for sure, for sure. Will you watch the Super Bowl? No. I don't have cable, and I don't even know what I don't even know what streaming service that it would be playing on. I'm sure it's on one of them, but I just don't know which one it's on. Nor am I like a super big football fan. It just wouldn't make a lot of sense for me to watch it. I wouldn't even know what was going on, really. I do watch it whenever I'm invited to go over to somebody's house for a Super Bowl party, because I like the commercials, you know. Sometimes the commercials are funny, or um, they make you think sometimes. So the commercials are kind of cool. But as far as the game goes, I just like, if there's a team I'm familiar with, then I go with that one, and I'm like, yeah, go Chiefs. But if it's not Kansas City up there, it's just going to be which team has the hotter dude as the quarterback. Olympics are okay, but I don't usually watch it. Yeah, I've always wanted to watch the Olympics, but I never have actually watched an entire season worth of it. I don't even know what the terminology you'd use there is, actually, come to think of it. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button as you're rolling in. By the way, every single time you hit that like button is another chance to send the stream out to even more people, which increases the quality of your viewing pleasure by increasing the number of people that can engage in the chat. That's what we're trying to do down here. So send me your questions. Talk to me about something. One of the things I want to talk to you guys about today is the fact that the United States Winter Olympics team, some of the athletes obviously have been getting asked, like, hey, what do you think about coming to the Olympics? How do you feel representing America on the world stage? And I gotta tell you, it's a lot like what you would have heard out of the athletes of like Nazi Germany or something. They literally, they sound like they're like finally being given a chance to speak out against an otherwise super authoritarian regime. Literally, they're like, yeah, we don't feel too good about having to represent the United States, but you know what? There's a lot of good about the US, and hopefully that's what people see in our participation in these games. And it's just so sad to me that these people, who are by and large just normal Americans that happen to be more athletically gifted than you or I, they have to carry the water, the foul water of America's missteps. And that sucks. This should be the most clear and concise sign that we've gotten yet that even our own people, who are otherwise pretty apolitical, do not like the direction in which the country has gone. It should be concerning to everybody, but of course it's not going to be. Why would it be? USA back-to-back World War champs. We can't really claim anything when it comes to the First World War because we didn't even join it until it was like a year and a half out from being done. Basically, all the ground that was going to be covered and all the ground that was going to be won had already been won by that point. Ignore all the positive comments? Why? I would ignore comments like yours. When dealing with someone bullying you, how do you ignore it? I mean, sometimes ignoring it's not what you should do. Sometimes you punch that motherfucker in the face. I mean, it just depends on the context. Sometimes ignoring a bully is not actually the best solution. World peace is a virtue. Interpersonal peace is an impossibility. Like sustained interpersonal peace. Obviously, there are some people, that know each other their entire lives and they never have a physical altercation. That's fine. But most people are going to fight with somebody at some point in their life. Like, you're gonna have fights. You're gonna have interpersonal qualms. That's just how it works. Are you a hippie? Yes. Although I feel like I straddle the line between like crust punk and hippie. I feel like I'm somewhere in between. Excited to see Bad Bunny? I bet a lot of people are. I was talking to this about, about this with one of my friends yesterday about how I have never listened to a Bad Bunny song as far as I know. I know what he looks like now, but that's because he said "Ice Out" at the Grammys and he blew up in the news space. But I would have never heard of Bad Bunny outside of a couple of casual mentions had it not been for that. And that is a demonstration, I think, of how different celebrity has become over the years. Think about it. Michael Jackson, dude, everybody knew who Michael Jackson was. But despite the fact that Bad Bunny is in the exact same position, numbers-wise, that Michael Jackson was in, might even be making more money than Michael Jackson was making actually at the peak of his career. Nobody knows him. Like, outside of the people who, I shouldn't say nobody. Obviously, tons of people know him. But, like, nobody outside of the specific demographic he was trying to target. I don't feel like there are any celebrities that are just trying to capture all of us anymore, which maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I think it's a reflection of people having more choice and access to music, like more ability to curate their feeds and everything. So I think it's ultimately a good thing, but maybe you guys have different thoughts on it. How many gender are there? As many as you want to conceive of. It's a social construct, not bound by like physical limitation. Let me ask you this. How many political parties are there? How many political parties can there be? Would be a better one. How many political parties can there be? 2? There can only be 2? Really? Because Britain has far more than 2. And a lot of Europe does, actually. In most of Europe, it's more commonplace to form a coalition government with parties that are similar to yours, but not exactly like yours. So clearly 2 is not the answer. There is 2 and we're in America, so doesn't matter. Gender is not a concept that only applies to America, neither is political parties. So, point. There's one good political party and there's yours. You assume merely because I'm a trans woman that is openly political that I'm a Democrat. I hate the Democrats probably more than you do, little faggot. How many gender animals are there? Animals don't have gender. Animals have sex. Humans have sex. But gender is a specific, it's a construct like specific to us. Probably. At least as far as we can tell. Like, there might be a conception of gender that monkeys have or parrots have or something like that, but they are far less capable of informing us about it. We cannot help but inform one another about our feelings on gender. And no, that's not just limited to trans people. That is an explicit thing about cisgender people. Like, how do you know someone is cisgender? Don't worry. Eventually, they will let you know. You know, not with that word, not with that language, but people who are like straight, like cishet, are fucking super proud of it. Not that they shouldn't be, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but this idea that trans people are the one that made everybody care about gender is just really silly to me. No, man, haircuts will make you a woman. Well, I don't think my haircut is what makes me a woman. Pretty sure it's my diagnosis of gender dysphoria and my treatment path, which is coming out as trans and living as a woman, as as my brain is programmed to be. What happened to my chin? I flayed it open. Okay, so you know how sometimes with sometimes with like a disposable razor head, it'll have one side that's just got one flat blade and it's like a straight razor thing, and the other side will have those 5 oriented blades. Well, I, for the longest time, have used the same brand of razor, and I've never changed because I really like them, I like the design, and I've never had one cut me before this, which was the other big reason I used them. I've maybe tiny, tiny little cuts every so often, but this is the first time I've ever had something like this happen. So I got a little careless because these were so easy to use and hard to hurt myself on that I kind of did like a downstroke with that backside. And I guess that backside, they changed the design recently to include a little straight razor section on there. And you can imagine. I mean, it looks awful. It's real bad. It's not good. What's that smell? I don't know. You should probably go wash your dick. You're probably smelling your own damn self. Be careful. Why don't I work? I do. I don't do much of it. I'll grant you that. But making money on YouTube every month is employment, as counted by the IRS and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I sound like Hitler? Well, that's specific. I'm a problem for everyone? Well, thanks for defining exactly how. What's with the evil symbol behind you? I like comments like that, basically. I like to scare people with a frightening symbol and then use it to talk about how weak-minded and pussy people are, about how easy it is to make people quake in their boots merely having the wrong symbol. Nobody's scared of a defeated foe. So why do Christians respond with such fear and anguish when I have that symbol behind me? Why did they ask in all caps then? Channel sucks? Well, hey, Charlie Durf, go find something else to watch. I don't have you chained to the radiator. If you don't like the content, there's about 1 million other people monetized and making content on YouTube right now for you to love and enjoy. I don't want your viewership. Teeth are crazy. No crazier than the average Americans. In fact, I have all of my teeth that I was like all my secondary teeth. You know, I don't have any missing teeth, so that actually places me above a lot of people in my age range and class structure, especially. Most people that make the amount of money I've made throughout my life and are my age have already had multiple missing teeth. All mine are there. They're stained, I grant you. They're uneven, sure, but they're there. Jesus loves you, Phoebes. Well, thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. Nah, for real. If you want to send money, I don't care how much you say Jesus loves you. It's really not even the Jesus loves you that bothers me. It's the spam. It's just that, like, you're the 17th person to say, not you, Ben. Like, you're saying it facetiously, but like when random Christians say it in chat, it's like the 14th time it's been said in any given live stream, and it's just annoying. But if they would send it with $50, that's another source. Like, hey, that's another thing entirely. Please, you can tell me Jesus loves you all day long. You can rant your crazy Christian nothings right into my ear if you want to. Just pay me for it. Metalcore Venom with the $1. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. By the way, you guys can donate in two ways. You can either use my Cash App down below. Those are great because YouTube doesn't take their fee and I can use it instantly, blah, blah, blah. Super Chat is also great because I can read that and you get like a lot bigger of a character limit, so you can get your comment or question read or answered if you send it via Super Chat. Just plug in that so you all know that it's out there. Vote Trump. I'll vote Trump if you like the stream. How about that? New lol cow just dropped. I dropped 1.5 years ago, bro, and I'm not a lol cow because I'm not being covered by creators larger than me. If you can make me into a lol cow, hey, that'd be great. If you can like get a hold of Keem or something, I'll do it. Being a lol cow these days means making absurd amounts of money off of doing basically no work. I'll take it. Being a lol cow is literally the sweetest gig in America right now. Look at Boogie2988. Dude is making doctor money right now, according to Billy the Fridge. And what does he have to do? Humiliate himself for 4 hours a day. Honestly, how did you become trans? I didn't become trans. It's not like I woke up one day and I was like, I'm trans now. No, I've been trans my whole life. When did I realize that I was transgender? Well, when I read the word transgender and realized that like, well, not when I read the word, but when I read the word and correlated it with its definition, that is when I realized that I was transgender, because that was the first time in my life that I'd ever had the language to correlate my experiences with something out there in the world that other people felt. But as far as like, when did I know? I've known my entire life. I mean, since I was a little kid, I've been trying to live as a woman. I just haven't been able to throughout most of my life until I was 21. Now I'm 27. The last 6 years have been great. Hey, Maddie Gillette, I know you are the type of attention-seeking bitch who would probably change everything about your life to try and get attention. But I've been playing guitar a lot longer than I've been trans. This is what I did for attention. And trust me, it's gotten me all the attention I've ever needed. This is how I get the extra attention that I crave. Me being trans, the only attention I get from being trans is negative attention that I could do without. I can't help but be trans. If I could, trust me, most trans people probably would choose to have just been born cisgender as the gender that they identify as, me included. I would have rather had been just born a cis woman. That'd be great. Would have been awesome. Knowing you, that guitar is going to be the next Willie Nelson Forever guitar. It will be. Unironically, Ben Jacobs, you're not kidding. And the reason why is for the same reason Willie's never gotten rid of his guitar. Dude, When you find a good instrument, when you find a good guitar, and you run it through its paces and it still works and it's still good, you keep that bitch in good repair. So let's go over this guitar. It's a Fender. Fender is a good make. They make good guitars. It's not, it's entry level, but it's not, bare bones, basic, most cheapest thing out there. But it's also not super expensive, which means nice, fully fucking sealed body that is really, really resistant to the elements, really resistant to water and humidity and all that. So it's great for playing outdoors for extended periods of time. I know because I've done it. The neck is just very straight and just naturally maintains its straightness without very many adjustments to the truss rod or the bridge or anything like that. It's just a good guitar. And despite all of the banging, hitting, jamming, traveling, and crazy shit that guitar has been through, I think to this day it's only got like one crack in it. Like one very small chip. I think. I think it's got one very small chip in it somewhere. I might be wrong about that, though. That might be my other guitar I'm thinking about. I used to have a whole guitar collection back when I was a teenager and had a lot more money to spend on bullshit. This is not from that original collection. This is one I bought while I was living on the road from a pawn shop. I like some girl stuff too, but if there are no gender norms, then why change your gender to feel better? I thought there was no traits that make people masculine or feminine, right? No, that's not what people are saying when they're talking about gender abolitionists. So I would consider myself a gender abolitionist, but I wouldn't consider myself to live in a currently post-gender society. What people are advocating for when they tell you things like, how is that masculine or how is that feminine? What they're usually really, in my opinion, what they really should be saying is, why should the fact that I was born with this, that, or the other thing dictate my behavior? That is a way better question. And the answer to that is, well, it clearly shouldn't. You should just do what makes you happy. Why do we correlate certain behaviors, presentations, aesthetics, etc., with certain genitalia or overall gender expressions? You would have to ask a psychologist for that one. Genuinely. I'm not even trying to fucking run away from the question. If I knew a good answer for you, I would tell you. I don't know why our society does that. We don't do it consistently the same way in every place in the world, but we do seem to have a tendency towards gendering things. Like I said, less of a tendency in some places, more of a tendency in others. Different things, but why do we have that tendency? Got me. I don't know. Why do human beings feel the need to gender everything? I couldn't tell you. What do pronouns do when they don't mean anything absolute? Do what? Nothing means anything absolute. What do you mean? All meaning is relative. All meaning is relative to, if you're talking linguistically, the meaning of a phrase or a word is always determined by the phrases and words that appear around it. You're blocked? No, you're not blocked. Nobody's blocked. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button as you're rolling in, by the way. Every single time you hit that like button, it's a chance to stream out to even more people, which increases the quality of your viewing pleasure by increasing the number of people engage in the chat. Can I be blocked? Nope. You want it bad. Gendering sea vessels is the cringiest thing ever. I tend to agree, Ben Jacobs. I tend to be pretty opposed to this hardcore drive to gender everything. I could play you guys a song about it, but most of you guys would just stop listening because you have terrible taste, right? So, but I'll give you a few lines from it. Let me see if I can remember it. You see, the problem I have with gender is that I'm not even sure whether I know what I mean when I say I'm a woman, because I know I am one. Because boys can wear dresses and makeup, anyone can wear whatever they want. Girls can have short hair and muscles, and that's where we run into trouble. Because if I use she pronouns, well, what does that mean? Am I reinforcing a gender binary that I don't believe in and I don't adhere to? I tell you I'm a woman, what's that supposed to tell you? Gender doesn't tell you a damn thing about me. I think it is specifically the gendered society that we live in creates trans people, because it's a strict behavioral compulsion that is enforced regardless of what your feelings are on the matter. You can disagree with that, but whatever. Someone tells me when it stops singing. Someone tell Big John that he's a stupid, dumb piece of shit that should be kicked in the throat. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. That's a lie. You shouldn't do that to people. That's wrong. Hmm. Everyone just needs more time sitting by a river eating nice food. That would help immensely. I think that would correct a lot of people's mental state. Hey, Jim Beans, you ain't funny. Nobody gives a fuck about you. And if anybody ever does, it will be the worst mistake they ever make in their life. You are a worthless piece of maggot shit. Oh, that's not nice. Neither is saying neckbeard 2.0 over and over again. You get what you give around here. Don't like it? Scroll up. Is it fair to say that trans is enjoying a fantasy of being a different gender than you are, not the gender you are? It seems to me like a way of expressing one's desire for freedom of uniqueness. I think you need to look into it more, Tora. I think you really do need to look into it more. Being trans is not a matter of imagination. It's not a matter of the idea that we are like cosplaying as the gender that we are is underwritten, or not underwritten. What's the word I'm looking for? Undermined. That's the word I'm looking for. It's undermined by the fact that trans people, like, I'm not, I don't know how else to put this to you guys. I don't have some kind of magical room in my house where I press a button and I extend my arms and it magically changes my entire body and hairstyle and everything else to a man. I don't have that. I don't know if you guys think trans people do, but that ain't how it works. If I didn't dress this way, not necessarily like this loud, but if I wasn't dressed in feminine clothing, I would just feel like stuffed and repressed and weird and discordant. Even if there was no one else around to observe me, just the fact that I've grown up in a society that is so strictly gendered, that is the side of the binary my brain ended up coming out on. I can't help that. Neither can any other trans person. I do think you would benefit from looking up Mayo Clinic transgenderism, because the Mayo Clinic has an amazing write-up about transgender people. It'll tell you all about gender dysphoria, the history of it, the history of like trans people being studied by science in general. It's a really good resource. You should check it out. Why are you people so cruel? Are you all MAGA? The things you are saying is what they all believe. Are you talking to me or the chat? I don't feel like I'm mirroring a whole lot of MAGA sentiments. You guys should share this stream, though. I can't believe we're only set 35 viewers. Just a second ago, we were about to fucking crest 200, and now we're sitting at 35? Come on now. See, you guys call me the crazy person when it comes to gender, but you'll look at a transgender woman with curly hair and like cute bangs and a lacy shirt on, and you'll call her a beefcake. You guys are the postmodernists. Gender means nothing to you. It means nothing to you. To you, a man can be anything, literally. When I think of a man, I can tell you like specific traits I associate with that. And so can you guys whenever you're trying to make fun of a gay man. But for some reason, whenever you want to make fun of trans women, whenever you want to call our gender identity into question, suddenly you can literally have on a dress, makeup, and have the prettiest fucking hair ever, and there will still be someone in your chat saying you are the burliest, hairiest, fucking most dog-faced man I've ever seen. And it's literally explicitly because you are soulless sociopaths more interested in reaction and personal aggrandizement, like baseline ego stroking, than you are in human development or the good of mankind. You are non-humans that should be disenfranchised, unironically. You shouldn't be allowed to vote. There should be a person at every polling station whose job it is to look up every single person who's about to vote on a system, like, because you know the system already exists, and check their social media history, and if they've ever been transphobic, no vote. Sorry. It is just such a baseline indicator for stupidity. You either recognize the objective science of transgender people's validity, or you are a retard who has rejected reality in favor of an imagined narrative. And I'm not interested in your opinion on politics or your voice being considered seriously by the people's government. Do you think illegals should be able to vote? I actually think that an undocumented immigrant should get 2 votes for every like regular vote that a conservative gets, actually. Maybe even 3. I'm not trying to be cruel at all, only curious. My reply, you say you feel stuffed if you don't wear women's clothing, so isn't it fair to say that you're trying to feel free? Dressing male feels unfree? Sure, yeah. I mean, I don't think you're necessarily looking at it super wrong. That's why I didn't come at you with this, like, hateful garbage that I'm giving these people, right? That's why I came at you a different way. That's why I was like, I really think you would benefit from looking into this more because you would understand. It's not, like, yeah, that's part of it, right? Like, yeah, obviously, I much freer and much more myself as a woman, right? That's like just a matter of presentation and ability. But it's not like, it's not because, oh my God, I feel so free that I do it. It's like that feeling free is a consequence of being satisfied by the gender role that I'm occupying. Does that make sense? That's why I want you to look into it. That's why I want you to read up a little bit about the science of it, because I am not the best person to explain like long researched scientific medical concept. Basically, I can tell you about my perspectives on it, I can tell you about what I've gone through, but I can't, like, I don't think, at least, I'm competent enough to to give you a full rundown of the scientific backing behind transgenderism. Guys, just so you know, don't look at the trans community the way you look at this person, because this person is not it. What did I say that pissed you off, Mr. Constantine? What made you so mad? Okay, so here's some comments from Mr. Constantine, and here's how seriously you should take them, right? So their first comment in here was like, what defects did you experience not counting from things other than the things you'd experience if nobody knew you were trans? I don't even know what that means. Yo, Phoebe, let me ask you a serious question. Nice. No, I fuck with that. Fantastic. You got more balls than everyone here, lol. You're the best, Phoebe. These are the worst people in the world confined into this chat room. You got to remember how beautiful the world is outside of this sick chat room. What you smoking on, Phoebes? You ever feel a feeling of regret that you can't take back? And now you've come to fucking scumbag right here, honestly. You don't believe a goddamn thing, Mr. Constantine. You don't believe a goddamn thing. You are a base creature who reacts with rage or love, depending on whether you feel like your narrative is personally being catered to at any given moment. Mr. Constantine is a goat. I know, he is definitely a goat for saying all those nice things about me. Don't you agree? Let me, once again, I'm going to pull up Mr. Constantine's chat history. You can do this yourself by clicking on Mr. Constantine's name and going to channel activity. You can see this yourself. This is not a special moderator power, as far as I know. So let's just read some of the nice things that Mr. Constantine has said about me tonight. You're the best, Phoebe. These are the worst people in the world confined into this chat room. You got to remember how beautiful the world is outside of this sick chat room. Hard eyes, heart glittery, praying hands, green check mark. What you smoking on, Phoebes? During your transition, have there been times when you thought you made a wrong choice or doubted the movement? For the record, no. There's never been a moment of regret. Do you ever feel a feeling of regret that you can't take back? No, never once. Jim Beans about what? Jim Beans, what's your angle, bro? So yeah, you were against the person that I was like yelling at. Phoebe, I'm MAGA, I love you. Okay, so yeah, you basically got pissed that I wasn't reading your comments, and now you've decided to turn on me because you personally weren't being catered to. Cool. Glad we got that out of the way. They are in love. They are literally in love. But whatever. I'm not even mad at Mr. Constantine. I just don't understand why people flip on a dime like that. Whatever. If you couldn't tell, I was joking with my very clearly rage-baiting statement about how immigrants should get 2 votes to every fucking one that MAGA gets. God, how retarded. People are just downright stupid these days. There is no fucking thing you can say absurd enough that where people will know you're joking. Of course it's fucking rage bait. Are you retarded? Do you think there's a single leftist in America that actually thinks undocumented immigrants should get 2 votes to every 1 conservative vote? Do you really think there's a single leftist anywhere in America that thinks that you should have to fucking prove your online chat history before you go vote? That is such an absurd statement. Why did you believe me? Why? Because you're stupid. Because you've got the IQ of a frog. Bro's literally avoiding questions he can't answer. I'll tell you this much. I don't answer questions often from people who misgender me. That is entirely up to me to do. If you really are desperate about having a question where you're going to misgender me be read, pay me for it. fuck you, pay me, or I get to choose what questions I read. The only way to guarantee your chat gets read. Your Ave Democrat friend on a Sunday instead of going to church? Yeah, fuck church. Thank God. And for the record, if you're sitting around on a chat room, you're not exactly obeying the word of God either. Maybe get a job. Once again, the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics counts this as self-employment. Argue with them, not me. I can't help the fact that I make money off of this shit every month. People just keep on paying me no matter what I say. I keep telling people, stop donating. I'm so worthless and evil. Can't you tell from the chat? And yet they keep on pouring fucking fat loads of money on me. I don't know, man. It's a mystery to me too, dog. It's a mystery to me too. So that means you are not trustworthy because you pick and choose your questions. So what you're saying is that I literally, in order to be a valid streamer, I have to do something that nobody else on this platform does. Literally, there's not a single human being streaming on YouTube that reads every single chat that is sent. In response to what you said about role, if you want a different role but society doesn't accept you in that role, what do you do? You want to fill a female role, but others don't see you that way. I mean, I guess in my case, I just keep on living that way. Like I said, I prefer knowing that I'm a woman to like not being perceived at all. You know, I don't know how to put it. I like other than reiterating what I said earlier, which is like I would rather like even if there's nobody around, even if like I was the last human being on Earth, I think I would probably still be looking in the ruins of the women's section for my clothing because I just was raised in a society where gender is like a strictly enforced binary, and that's the side of the binary that I feel like I align with. I cannot like fully explain to you like the psychological backing of that because I'm not a psychologist. I'm a trans woman, not a doctor. Okay, but um, there are lots of roles that people want to fulfill and sometimes do fulfill that society doesn't want them to fulfill. I mean, for a long time, loving father was one of those. For a long time, dads were not supposed to be nice to you, and there were still dads during that time who were nice to their kids. Everyone fucking left. There hasn't been a significant change in viewership in the last 20 minutes, bro. It's been hovering around 30 to 50 people for a while. It's not how debates work. This isn't a debate. This is a live stream where I take random questions from the chat and answer them at will. Do you think it's wrong if others don't accept your choice of role or put you in a male role? Yeah, I think it would be wrong of them to do that. But once again, to what degree are they doing that? Like, I really don't give a fuck what some person like personally thinks about me, ever. Because you know what? Before I was out as trans, people thought I was way too feminine, and so like, no matter what I do, I'm never going to be accepted in any gender role. Period. Full like that is not an option for me. So I don't give a fuck about what anyone else thinks about it. I know what I am. I know how I feel, and I'm comfortable with it. You know? So like, yeah, I think it would be wrong for someone to legislate against me, but I don't think it would necessarily be wrong for you personally to hold a wrong and unscientific opinion about trans people. Like, I don't think, like, I guess it's morally wrong in the sense that you are, like, both pragmatically wrong and that that belief could lead to pretty bad legislation if you ever enacted it or voted on its basis. But just holding the belief in itself, I can't affect that. I can't do anything with that. I can't work against it or with it. You don't live in reality, says the guy preaching Sky Daddy. I know, it is the fucking most insane fucking shit. Literally, someone who believes in a Sky Father talking to me about imagined realities. when they're the ones making up their whole reality. Like, I'm the one who's operating on the basis of scientific fact and medical consensus. You guys are the ones who have made up your own little fucking fictional world to occupy and live in. Nick Patterson, I was joking. It was a fucking joke. Here's something I don't get about the conservative movement. How come you guys are cool with conservative people saying the most depraved shit? How come you guys are cool with Trump posting a video calling the Obamas chimps, superimposing their faces on chimpanzees? Why are you guys okay with that shit? But when some leftist comes at you with some of your own medicine, sometimes, like, all of a sudden you're really offended about it. All of a sudden you're really mad about it. It gets you all up in arms. You want to call them to account. We're not till you do. What? Can you say that in English, please? Can you explain yourself a little better than that? I don't care that he reshared it. In fact, I think he reshared it specifically because he saw that picture at the end of the screen recorded video that he fucking reshared. And he was like, yeah, that's just the perfect fucking icing on the cake, isn't it? Because he's a fucking hick at heart. He's a hick that just happened to fucking luck into billions of dollars. And I refuse to aggrandize him as anything more. You are a boy, though. Just because mine tells you that you would rather be the opposite sex doesn't make it true. What do you think overall? Keep being you regardless what anyone says, including me. I'm sorry, this is going to sound really rude, but you're just not right. It's not a matter of my opinion. It's just not. It is not a matter of me feeling like I'm right. It's a matter of scientific consensus. I am not, for those of you for whom it matters, I am not trans because I woke up one day and decided to just come out. I have gone through extensive therapy. I have had conversations with doctors. I don't need your medical input. And this is not a matter of personal opinion. It is a matter of medical science that a lot of people, for some reason, choose to deny. I think they choose to deny it because they've been told to deny it. They've been told by people they trust, pastors, political leaders, demagogues in the media, that they have to be opposed to trans people. And they've been given a giant pack of lies as to why they need to be concerned about trans people. When the fact of it is that more transgender people have died at the hands of people's fears than have ever done an untoward and fucking thing toward anybody. Oh. I think I think I'm going to restart this stream, but with some different settings. So those of you who are cool, come back